welcome to your English news broadcast live on ERi-TV. It's exactly 10:30 p.m. on Eritrea's local time from our headquarters at Asmara. With your domestic and international news in brief, I'm Zahara Baduri, but first we'll begin with your major headlines for this broadcast. Assessment meeting of Executive Board of the NUEW. Commendable health services provision and more on China fires missiles in unprecedented drills around Taiwan as your primary international. Turkey's inflation jumped to a 24 years high of 79.6% in July. Welcome to your domestic in brief. The Executive Board of the National Union of Eritrean Women held 6-month activity assessment meeting on 1st and 2nd of August in Karan. According to reports presented at the meeting, the union has conducted praiseworthy activities in raising the awareness of members supporting families of martyrs, developing participation of women in the national affairs, as well as strengthening organizational capacity of women organizations in government institutions, among others. The meeting also discussed on the importance of integrated effort for strengthening political awareness of women, reinforcing participation in development programs, as well as in developing overall capacity of women and preserving the noble societal values. The participants, on their part, conducted extensive discussion on the reports presented and adapted various recommendations. Speaking at the event, Mrs. Tikhatisva Mikhail, President of the National Union of Eritrean Women, commanding for the effective implementation of the program of the union inside the country and abroad, and said that effort will be conducted to develop socioeconomic capacity as well as capacity building training programs for women. The Ministry of Health branch in the Central Region reported that commendable activity have been conducted to ensure health services provision to the public in the region. The report was made at a 6-month activity assessment meeting conducted on 2nd and 3rd August. Speaking at the meeting, Dr. Mulugeta Haile, Medical Director of the Ministry of Health branch in the Central Region, said that the modern medical equipment put in place and assessment of health professionals in health facilities have significant contribution in the praiseworthy health service provision. According to reports presented at the meeting, in the past 6 months, as a result of the regular vaccination program conducted, the number of deaths of pregnant women has been reduced to zero level, and treatment has increased by 3.3%. The reports further noted that as part of the effort to expand health services, a number of health facilities have been constructed and renovated training programs and have been organized to laboratory technicians, pharmacists, nurses, assistant nurses, and solar systems has been introduced into a number of health facilities. As a result of the growing awareness of the public, the prevalence of communicable diseases, especially that of HIV, AIDS, TB, and malaria, has significantly been reduced. The reports also added that the participants, on their part, conducted extensive discussion on the report presented and adapted various recommendations within the program. Proceeding on your domestic, the Ministry of Agricultural branch in Karan subzone reported that commendable greening campaign has also been, as well as soil and water conservation activity, are being conducted in the subzone through the Student Summer Work Program and government employees. Mr. Yazid Abdel, head of the Agricultural Office of the subzone, said that over 3,500 people are daily participating at the greening campaign since June 28th. Engineer Sias Rosom, soil and water conservation expert and coordinator of the program, said that so far over 223 kilometers of terraces, 1,434 meters of water diversion schemes have been constructed and over 35,000 holes ready for planting tree seedlings. Engineer has further noted that the greening campaign is being conducted at mountains of Lalimba, Tabur, It'abur, Tunqul Hasarai, Abu Gadir, and Dorqwa, and Sharsharma, and Dige, and Kani, and West Bashuruch, and Habar, as well as schools within the program. On your final domestic and health report, 8 patients have been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 in tests carried out today at quarantine centers and testing stations in the central region. On the other hand, 16 patients who have been receiving medical treatment in hospitals in the central region have recovered fully and have been discharged from the facility. The total number of recovered patients has accordingly increased to 9,870, while the number of deaths stands at 103. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 10,095. Ministry of Health, Asmara, 4th August 2022. Stay tuned for more on your international news after this short break. On your global report, several ballistic missiles into the waters around Taiwan as it launched large-scale military exercises in response to U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to the self-ruled island. As a report, Chinese state media said that the live-fire drills in 6 areas around Taiwan got underway at noon local time on Thursday and will continue until the same time on Sunday. Senior Colonel Shai He, the spokesman of China's Eastern Theater Command, said in a statement carried by state media that rocket forces in multiple locations on the mainland launched several types of missiles into designated water off the east coast of Taiwan. The missiles carried conventional warheads, and all of them hit their target accurately, he reported, adding that the aim of the drills was to test the precision of the weapon and ability to deny the enemy access or control of an area. Turkish inflation rose to a fresh 24-year high of 79.6% in July. Data showed on Wednesday as the liras continue to weaken and global energy and commodity cost pushed prices higher, though the price rise came out below forecast. Inflation began to surge at last autumn when the lira slammed after the central bank gradually cut its policy rate by 500 basis point to 14% in an easy cycling sought by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Month-on-month consumer prices rose 2.37% on July, the Turkish Statistical Institution said, below a Reuters news agency poll forecast for 2.9% annually. Consumer price, however, inflation was forecasted to be 80.5%. Tayyip, senior emergency market economist at Capital Economics, said annual inflation may be approaching a peak, with energy inflation falling sharply and food inflation appearing close to topping out. The biggest annual raise in consumer price was in the transportation sector, up to 119.11%, while food and non-alcoholic drinks prices climbed to 94.65%. Inflation this year has been fueled further by the economic impact of Russian invasion of Ukraine, as well as the lira's continued to decline. The currency weakened 44% against the United States dollar last year and is down another 27% this year. The lira, however, was trading flat after the data at 17.9560 against the dollar. It touched a record low of 18.4 in December. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your domestic and international news in brief. Until we are back with some more news, stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. But until then, these are a recap of today's major headlines. A Assessment meeting of Executive Board of the NUEW. Commendable health services provision and more on your domestic. And on your international, China fires missiles and unprecedented drills around the country Taiwan. Turkey's inflation jumped to 24 years high of 79.6% in the last July. That is all for now, dear viewers. We'll leave you with the rest of our programs here on ERi-TV. But until we're back with some more news, thanks for watching and have a nice one.